The Nintendo Switch has finally arrived, and with it, its promise of seamless integration from handheld device to traditional console gaming system. And it does it quite well, but not without a few issues. From the moment I took the Switch out of its box, I was impressed with the console's build quality. This device really feels like a piece of tech as opposed to its predecessor, the Wii U gamepad. Made mostly of metal and glass rather than plastic, this is by far some of the best hardware we've seen from Nintendo. The device itself is very small, only measuring about 4 inches high and 9.4 inches long with the Joy-Con controllers. The Switch itself boasts a multi-touch capacitive touchscreen, 6.2-inch LCD screen, 1280 by 720p screen that looks stunning in most environments. When docked, the Switch is able to output 1080p into TV mode, which also looks great. The Switch has an internal memory of up to 32 gigabytes, with it being able to expand up to 2 terabytes via micro SD. The volume, power, controls, and headphone jack, as well as the game card slot, are all located at the top of the device, giving it a clean look and feel. The controllers are pretty, and their matte finish almost immediately makes you want to touch them, especially the bright neon versions. The Joy-Con controllers themselves are very lightweight, weighing only 1.7 ounces each. But just because they're small, don't let it fool you. They're packed with features. They're both supporting Bluetooth connectivity and have an HD rumble feature, as well as the right Joy-Con possessing an NFC support for amiibos, as well as a motion IR camera. The Joy-Con controllers have about a 20-hour battery life and are able to charge while the Switch is docked. A few problems people might have is the congested feeling of the Joy-Con's buttons and analog stick placement, but over time my hands adjusted to the controller's layout. I was able to play comfortably with the Joy-Con grip. If you're still not completely satisfied with the form factor of the Joy-Con, Nintendo has released a more traditional Pro controller, but it will run you $80. Battery life on the Switch may be an issue for some, the device only having a battery life anywhere from 2.5 to 6.5 hours, depending on what game you're playing. While I was playing Zelda, I got a good 3 hours out of the game, not before making adjustments to my screen brightness first. This can be a problem if you're out with your Switch and are near no outlets or don't have a mobile battery pack. Good news is you're able to charge the device while playing it, but because of the USB-C port being directly under the device, you won't be able to play in tabletop mode. The Nintendo Switch's dock is small, minimalist, and is a nice addition to any media hub. Taking up virtually no space, the dock is 4.1 inches high and 6.8 inches long. It has 2 USB 2.0 slots on the front, and in the rear an AC adapter port and a USB port, and of course the HDMI input. The Switch's user interface is quick, clean, and snappy. There isn't much to do as of yet, but opening games, checking friends lists, and browsing the Nintendo eShop has been a breeze. Wi-Fi connectivity seems to be a problem for now, with the systems having a weak Wi-Fi signal even when the device is a mere 3 feet away from the nearest router. This can hopefully be fixed in an upcoming OS update. Future updates will likely bring streaming services like Hulu and Netflix to the device, but for now the eShop is just fun to look at, and that's about it. The Switch promotes a number of ways to play, from handheld to TV to tabletop mode. With only 5 launch titles, it's hard to say how well the Switch does games. I for one think that if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, it's an absolute must. Very rarely does a console get a launch title that is as great as Zelda Breath of the Wild, with it pulling in perfect scores from most major video game reviewers. It would be a shame to miss this one. Other games that have multiplayer really show off the Switch's focus in local co-op play. Playing Snipper Clippers in Super Bomberman R in my living room with friends is truly a blast, and the fact that the Switch can go with you anywhere makes the experience truly more entertaining. As of now, the Switch lineup looks promising, with games like Mario Kart 8 and Super Mario Odyssey, not to mention Nintendo promising 64 indie games coming later in the year. The Switch is set to be one of Nintendo's most ambitious consoles yet. With a retail price of $3.99 Canadian, the Switch is a reasonably priced piece of tech. Nintendo surely has rebounded from the faults of their last console and created something wonderful. I think that the Switch is a great console, but a far from perfect one. Hopefully future updates and a steady stream of first-party and third-party games can keep the Switch from making the same mistakes as previous Nintendo consoles. Casual gamers may not need to buy the Switch as of yet, but any Zelda or Nintendo fan should know that the Switch is definitely worth your time, as it looks to become a very promising console.